Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Susanna DeBaca, and I'm the president and group publisher of Business Publications Corporation, which brings you the Business Record, DSM, and IA magazines. And I want to welcome you to our annual Iowa Stops Hunger initiative presented by Hy-Vee. We started Iowa Stops Hunger 3 years ago, and our objective at that time was to highlight food insecurity in Iowa and to showcase the important work being done by individuals and organizations across the state. We wanted to inspire action among our readers. We do this through coverage in all of our products, through a special issue of the Business Record, videos, a magazine, a website, and a corporate challenge, among other things. Today, we're going to be focusing on how businesses can help fight hunger. We're thrilled to be able to feature some inspiring statewide business leaders whose companies are taking action in innovative ways, as well as highlighting some statewide nonprofits who work tirelessly to address food insecurity across Iowa. Since it's almost September, I know it's hard to believe, and September is Feeding America Hunger Action Month, it's especially fitting that we are discussing this today. In a moment, we're going to be introducing our co-moderators, our sponsors, and our speakers, and then we're going to ask a question to get things going. But I want to let you know that you in the audience have a role to play as well in shaping our program. I know that you're Zoom pros after several years, but I am pleased to tell you about a new audio captioning feature that we're offering. If you look at the bottom of your screen where your camera and mute buttons are, you should also have an icon for auto captioning. The live transcript has already been enabled, so you can use this icon to view the full transcript in your sidebar, similar to the chat feature, or you can hide the text if you don't want to see it. The videos we show today will also include captioning, and that's part of the work we're doing to make sure that our events are as inclusive as possible for everyone. Of course, you can use the chat feature at the bottom of your screen to offer comments or your own insights. And so let's do a quick chat just to get you going. Please feel free to share your name and why you are so passionate about fighting food insecurity in Iowa. We also hope that you'll share on social media with the hashtag Iowa Stops Hunger. So go ahead and chat. We're interested in seeing who you are and where you're from and why you're passionate about food insecurity. As we get started, I also want to take a moment to urge you to tune in to the Iowa Hunger Summit, sponsored by the World Food Prize Foundation. That's on this coming Thursday, and will feature many leaders from across the state, and we'll have very important discussions on the topic of food insecurity. And now I'm pleased to introduce my co-moderators who you may have seen hanging out here on the screen, Emily Barsky, who's the editor of the Business Record, and Michael Crum, who's a senior reporter for the Business Record. Both Emily and Michael have been involved in leading Iowa Stops Hunger since day one, and really at this point are very much both authorities on the subject in Iowa. So thanks to both of you for joining. They're going to take over in a little bit. This work would not be possible without the support of our sponsors, presenting sponsor Hy-Vee and supporting sponsor Mom's Meals. We're going to roll a video from Hy-Vee, but first I want to tell you a little bit about it. Community champion Hy-Vee has been proud to join us to lead the fight against hunger since the very beginning of this Iowa Stops Hunger initiative. They are on a mission to create a hunger-free community across Iowa with support from customers, suppliers, and local community organizations. But there's been one organization, an Iowa-based organization, that has been at the forefront of many of Hy-Vee's efforts, and that is Meals from the Heartland. Meals from the Heartland is a 501c3 nonprofit organization based out of West Des Moines, whose mission is to empower people to save starving children. They are Hy-Vee's primary recipient of funds raised through the sales of Hy-Vee One Step cereals, and they are a pivotal partner in the Hy-Vee One Step charity. Together, they have distributed more than 16 million meals to families around the world, including those all across Iowa. Let's learn more about their partnership in this short video.
So Meals from the Heartland is a 501c3. Our mission is to empower others to feed starving children. Over the course of 11 years, it's helped us pack over 16 million meals to be able to send out to kids all over the world. We are so appreciative and so grateful for the One Step cereal money that comes to us, because that money is allowing us to buy the ingredients, but more importantly, it's feeding the kids internationally that we are helping to feed. We couldn't be where we are without the support of both the financial dollars from Hy-Vee as well as their employees coming in and helping us pack meals. They've helped us package over 16 million meals, which is a phenomenal number, by far more than any other organization that has partnered with us. For us and for those kids, it's a difference maker, and we are very blessed to be able to have this partnership.
I'm now pleased to introduce Tina Potoff, who is the Senior Communications Manager with Hy-Vee. We've been working with Tina since the beginning of Iowa Stops Hunger, and she and Hy-Vee have been great partners. Tina, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. We are thrilled to be partners with Business Publications Corporation and being a part of this great initiative. It's fantastic to be a part of this messaging and also get more people involved with stopping hunger across Iowa. One of the things that's taking place is if you go to Hy-Vee stores, you can actually round up at the register, and through our customers, as well as I'm sure many of you, we've been able to raise $1.7 million over the past several months, and we plan to continue that initiative over the upcoming weeks, especially into the holidays, because we see that the need is just so great. In addition to that, we are also down at the Hy-Vee Hall over the next couple of days, working with our partners, like you saw, Meals from the Heartland, to help package meals. And so we ask and encourage anyone who might be willing to help to come to the packaging event and be a part of that big event for us to try and deter hunger across the state of Iowa. So thank you so much for having us be a part of this, Susanna, and also the team at Business Publications Corporation.
Thank you. And we've been thrilled to work with you, Tina. As our supporting sponsor, we've also been really very pleased to be able to work with Mom's Meals. And I think we have a video from Mom's Meals as well before we introduce our guest. So Sherry, go ahead and roll it.
Yes, I am from Des Moines originally. I was born 77 years ago, and this house really has a history to it because my mom and dad bought it when he came back from World War II, and I came here with them when I was 3 years old, so a lot of history here. And now I have a lot of issues, walking and losing my balance and falling, and just there's so many things. But Mom's Meals is one of the wonderful parts of my program, because I am not able to do a lot of cooking and things, and if I didn't have this, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful for the way that these are provided. I tell people I have a very young mind, but my body won't cooperate with me. So I'm extremely grateful for Mom's Meals because I'm very arthritic and I can't hold on to things. So I can't chop anymore, and I love fresh everything. Mom's Meals provides me with such a wonderful variety, and I get to choose from a menu. I mean, this is incredible.
I love that video. Thank you so much, Mom's Meals. I'm now very pleased to be able to introduce Tim Conroy, who is the National Vice President of Government and Healthcare Partnerships. Like Tina, we've been working with Tim since day one on Iowa Stops Hunger. Tim, welcome.
Thank you to Business Publications and everyone joining this call for your support and commitment to eradicating hunger in Iowa. As Susanna mentioned, my name is Tim Conroy. I'm the National Vice President of Government and Healthcare for Mom's Meals. We wanted to highlight Lynn as an example of the lived experience of an everyday Iowan that may struggle to maintain food security, and how important it is for all of our programs and organizations to work together in support of local and impactful solutions to hunger. Over 20 years ago, Mom's Meals started in a small Iowa community working with local community-based organizations to deliver meals under the Aging and Disabilities Waiver. Over 20 years later, we are even more committed to our mission of improving life through better nutrition at home. As the nation's leading provider of medically tailored and refrigerated home delivered meals, we deliver more than 1.2 million meals every week across zip codes throughout Iowa and the rest of the country. We are honored to be part of Iowa Stops Hunger and want to continue to elevate our community-based organizations and local food banks to ensure funding and support continue to aid their ability to address hunger and food access issues for everyday Iowans. With all of us working together, collaborating, and developing practical and sustainable solutions to combat hunger, we can make a difference in the health and well-being of some of our most vulnerable communities. We are excited to expand this commitment over the next few years and look forward to working with each of you on this goal. Thanks for your time and efforts.
Thank you very much to Tim and to Tina. And I'm excited to tell you that as a result of the conversations that we've had with Iowa Stops Hunger over the last few years, Hy-Vee and Mom's Meals, along with the Department of Public Health, have come together and formed a public-private agency partnership. And they are working on a pilot to collaborate on a targeted statewide effort to reduce hunger in Iowa. It's kind of unprecedented, and it's exciting that it came out of these conversations. But stay tuned for a more formal announcement of this work in the next few weeks. I now want to also thank and recognize our corporate challenge sponsors. These are companies who have taken action on hunger and allowed us to publicize that in our publications. Alliant Energy, Catholic Charities, Community State Bank, Delta Dental of Iowa, DLL, Farmers Mutual Hail, Frontier Co-op, Iowa Economic Development, McKee Voorhees and Seas, Molina Health, Nationwide, Principal Foundation, and Wesley Life, all organizations that are taking action around hunger. And now we're about ready to begin the program with the speakers, and I'm going to turn it over to Michael Crum. Michael?
Thank you, Suzanne. And again, thanks everyone for joining us today. Again, this year, we reached out to a number of nonprofit organizations across the state, asking them to assist us in spreading the word about fighting food insecurity and hunger across Iowa. Throughout the program today, we will hear from a number of those nonprofit organizations through videos. So let's take a look at the first video of some of those organizations highlighting their great work.
Now more than ever before, Iowans are making unthinkable decisions. Decisions like whether to pay their bills or feed their families. Here at Food Bank for the Heartland, we distribute food in 93 total counties, 16 in Western Iowa. The support of the Iowa business community is critical. We are experiencing a hunger crisis never seen in the 40-year history of our organization. Your dedication, support, and time, talent, and treasure is needed.
Hi, I'm Michelle Buck, CEO of the Food Bank of Iowa. We provide food for children, families, seniors, and veterans in 55 counties. Record numbers of Iowans are seeking assistance now during the current economic downturn. We're growing to meet the need. Learn more at foodbankiowa.org.
Table to Table builds vital connections between abundance and hunger, recovering edible food for the Hunger Relief Network. One of the ways to do this is through our cleaning and garden recovery programs. Your support ensures all Iowans have access to fresh local produce. Helping our neighbors have nutritious food improves quality of life for everyone who works and lives in our community.
Hi, my name is Kim Guardado from the Hickett Food Reservoir. With support from businesses like you, we distributed over 10 million meals to people facing hunger in East Central Iowa last year. So thank you.
The Food Bank of Siouxland supports 11 counties throughout the community, supplying food to both urban and rural areas throughout Western Iowa. With the support of local businesses, we are able to feed communities on a larger scale with a substantial impact by filling in the gaps of food insecurity. By coming together, we can lead the fight against hunger.
Well, thank you to the nonprofits in our first video for all the work that you do. Before we get started with our speakers today, we wanted to again welcome you all to share any comments or questions in the chat as you hear today's program. So let's introduce our speakers. We have with us today Rona Berinobis, and she is the Vice President of Corporate Social Responsibility and Organizational Development at Athene. In her current role, Rona leads Athene's Foundation, Community Relations, Talent Development, and Employee Engagement initiatives. Prior to joining Athene, she worked at Walmart Blue Cross Blue Shield. Nate Clark is the Global Director of Corporate Social Responsibility for Deere & Company and the President of the John Deere Foundation. Nate brings to his role over a decade of experience in designing and guiding some of John Deere and the Foundation's most significant community development projects around the world. Sharon Krause is the Chair of the Board of Directors for In Harmony Farm. Sharon is an industrial engineer who spent many years doing environmental and process improvement work before starting an organic ranching operation in 2006. She recently donated 70 acres of her farm to start In Harmony Farm, which serves socially disadvantaged Iowans by providing access to land, specialty crop production, and new farm business development. Leah Rodenberg is a senior program manager at the Alliant Energy Foundation, where she helps the company further its mission of strengthening the communities it serves in Iowa and Wisconsin. Leah has worked at Alliant Energy for nearly 26 years and helps manage sponsorships and grants, as well as other community philanthropy efforts. Leah serves on a number of nonprofit boards, including Hawkeye Area Community Action Program, where she chairs the Food Advisory Council. And Emily Schmitt is in the third generation of family active in Sukup Manufacturing Co. She serves as the Chief Administrative Officer and General Counsel for the company. In her role, Emily manages legal, human resources, communications, strategic planning, and other administrative functions of the company. And two additional panelists that for today's event unfortunately had scheduling conflicts at the last moment, and you may have seen them in our programming. That was Margaret Hoover, host of Firing Line with Margaret Hoover, and Maria Ramos, Human Resources Talent Acquisition Manager at Ag State, who were unfortunately able to join today. So we've asked each of today's speakers to share what they or their company is doing to combat hunger, to give you all ideas of how businesses are a part of fighting food insecurity. So first up is Rona. Over to you.
Thanks, Emily. I appreciate the opportunity to spend time with everyone today. I'm going to focus a few minutes just talking about what we do at Athene, and then maybe plug in a little bit of what I personally do to help combat food insecurity in our communities. At Athene, we have four primary areas of focus when it comes to community giving. It's education, human services, health and well-being, and environmental sustainability. Three of those four are very critical to food insecurity. We've actually partnered with a few different organizations, and I'm going to talk about those. The Food Bank of Iowa is one area that we support, but most specifically, there are two parts of the tremendous programming that they have that we really lean into. First of all is the weekend backpack program. So during the week, the kiddos in the public school system have the opportunity to have nutritious meals for breakfast and for lunch at no cost to them. However, at the end of the week, oftentimes there may not be as much nutritional capability in the home. And so through this program, kiddos can take home a weekend backpack full of food for them and their families for the weekend. We support that program. In this last year, it provided nearly 14,000 backpacks and about 48,000 pounds of food. The important part of that is that we know that oftentimes kiddos have the opportunity during the week to be fully sustained. Through the weekend, they have the sustainability with this program, and so they're ready to go Monday morning when they go back to school. Another part of that Food Bank of Iowa program, one of the programs that we also support is the culturally responsive food program that provided over almost 40,000 pounds of masa flour into culturally specific communities. The types of flour that you may not get in the regular grocery store was provided back through this program. And so we were really excited about being able to support that program. Another program that our organization supports is on a smaller scale, but no less important. I happen to be the treasurer for Urban Dreams, and Urban Dreams organization has a smaller food pantry partnered with Food Bank of Iowa and many, many other local community organizations to provide free food with no questions asked to individuals in their neighborhood. And hundreds and hundreds of individuals benefit from this program. And the last thing I'll mention is although we do a lot of things, but since it is Hunger Awareness Month in September, we will have a day of action where employees have the opportunity during the day to volunteer for Meals from the Heartland, and that's on during the work day. So we will have that day in September for all of our West Des Moines employees to potentially sign up to participate in that day. So with that, I will throw it back over to Emily and Michael.
Great, thank you so much, Rona. And Nate, you're up next.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nate, and I work for John Deere and the John Deere Foundation. It's with the deepest gratitude that I'm able to join with you today. First off, please allow me to thank and recognize again BPC, Hy-Vee, Mom's Meals, and all of the supporters of the Iowa Stops Hunger initiative. In addition, I'd also like to specifically thank the food bankers and the other experts upon whom we all depend to actually stop hunger in the state and live up to the appropriately bold name of this initiative. And it's with these food bankers and other experts in my mind that I'm humbled to share with all of you what I believe is now the most important thing that we do at the John Deere Foundation to contribute to ending hunger in this state. Specifically, today, all of the annual support that the John Deere Foundation provides food bankers serving our home communities is either wholly unrestricted or is directed to capacity building actually chosen by our food banker partners. So why do I believe that unrestricting our donations and investing in food banker capacity is the most important thing that we now do? Let me give you 3 reasons. First, when we invest in ways that empower food bankers and other experts to collect, to distribute more food to those experiencing hunger in our state, and do so in ways that are more humane and more efficient and more effective, the food bankers do it, period. Just talk to Barb Prather and Michelle Book and Nancy Rakes and Kathy Hutton, and they'll show you these results, and these results speak for themselves. Second, you'll notice that I'm referring to food bankers and other experts as opposed to food banks or agencies or pantries or nonprofit organizations, because we depend upon people, these amazing people, to stop hunger. Iowa doesn't stop hunger. Iowans stop hunger. And when you invest in these Iowans through unrestricted donations, you're able to provide them with the kinds of things that we've all come to expect to enhance our own productivity. It's benefits and salaries and developmental opportunities. And in so doing, you give these Iowans the respect and dignity that they deserve. Third and lastly, the last 2.5 years have shown all of us that those who experience hunger in Iowa fight against extraordinary chaos. It comes in the form of intersecting barriers that they face. It also comes in the form of what seems to be increasing volatility in their lives. So in order to treat these people, the people at the heart of all of our work, with the dignity that they deserve, we must arm the food bankers and the other experts with the resources that they can use to have every resource at their disposal and to innovate new tools and programs. When we do that, when we unrestrict our donations and invest in capacity building, we truly honor all Iowans. So My comments were brief, but my message is simple. So thank you for allowing me to share this perspective. Thank you for all that you do. And one of the things that I'll do in the chat is I'll share my email address, and I invite anyone to reach out to me to learn more about our work, and so that I can learn more about yours. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Nate. And now we will watch our next nonprofit video.
Hi, I'm Luke Elzinga of DMARC. Our food pantry network is seeing a 70% increase in use right now, with thousands of first-time food pantry users, due to the drop in SNAP benefits and rising food and fuel prices. Your support right now is so critical to our work.
Hi, I'm Linda Gorka with Iowa Food Bank Association. Working with the Feeding America Food Banks and over 1,300 partner agencies, we ensure all Iowans have enough food to eat. Now more than ever, the support of our businesses and corporations across the state are essential in the work we do to ensure that every Iowan in the state is nourished.
United Way of Central Iowa has been addressing the root causes of our community's toughest challenges, like hunger, for more than 100 years. Our role is to unite donors, volunteers, businesses, nonprofits, and those with lived experiences to work together and improve lives in Central Iowa. When we work in a united way, every Central Iowan can have the opportunity to not only survive, but to thrive.
Hi there, I'm Daniel Zinnel, CEO of Proteus, and we provide agricultural workers and their families with access to affordable healthcare, education assistance, and job training. Farm workers feed you and me, and they need your business's support now more than ever so that farm workers who cultivate our food have access to food themselves.
Hi, I'm Philip, and I work for Matthew 25's Cultivate Food programs here in Cedar Rapids. We run an urban farm which supplies food to our not-for-profit grocery store, our Pay It Forward cafe, which provides free meals for others, and a number of other important healthy food options for our community. And with the support of local businesses, we can provide healthy organic food to people from a wide spectrum of the community. And having access to healthy food helps people move forward and with increased opportunities for success in life.
Well, thank you, everyone, and all the nonprofits for all the hard work you do and the inspiring work you do to combat food insecurity and hunger here in Iowa. I'd like to introduce our next three business leaders and let them share a little bit about what they and their companies are doing to combat food insecurity across our state. Sharon, let's have you go next.
Sounds great, Michael. Thank you so much. And thanks to everyone. This is so inspiring to be with this group today. Nate, I need to give you a shout out and a thank you in front of the whole group. As you know, when we started our 501c3 last year, you were the first funder that I went to. And without hesitation, you said yes. And like you said, unrestricted dollars. Your early contribution was catalytic for us in terms of bringing others on board. So thank you. We were humbled, and we've been great stewards of your dollars. I hope you will see that in our work. So we are a new 501c3. As mentioned earlier, we were started with the donation of 70 acres of land just north of Earlham, west of the metro area. And last year, when we were trying to vision what we would look like, we met with stakeholders from all over the community to really try and identify where the gaps are today in terms of agriculture, conservation, and food insecurity. And what we found out unequivocally, the two major gaps were land access for small, socially disadvantaged, underserved farmers to be able to grow specialty crops and earn a living wage. So we're talking 3 to 5 acres. The other piece that we noted was really missing, and in terms of a gap, was the availability of healthy, culturally diverse foods in the food insecure network. So we went to work, and our 3 goals as In Harmony Farm are to provide land for socially disadvantaged farmers, to demonstrate regenerative agriculture and conservation forward land management practices, and to provide meaningful experiences for the community. So what does that mean today? This past year, we've had our 70 acres have turned into 25 tillable acres of ground. We have 6 farming families from Burundi, Africa, that are farming specialty crops, things like lenga, which are an African specialty, isogo, African eggplant, and then many things familiar to Iowans, tomatoes and carrots and onions. In addition to that, next week we have a grazing farmer started, so another Burundian family that wants to get started grazing sheep and goats. And so these are all farm families that have farmed in the past, maybe where they came from or on small urban gardens, urban plots in the metro area, and they're ready to scale up to that next phase. And so that's what In Harmony provides. We're just now finishing our campus build out. So we will have, there is a water hydrant at every farm. We will have a wash and pack building and coolers for these farmers to be able to store their large volumes of produce before they go to market. We're going to take this winter season to really level set and determine what additional resources do they need. Do they need introduction to employment law, tax law, food safety, agronomy, conservation, all of these pieces? Of course, this will come with interpretation and translation services for a lot of the farmers that we're working with, but we think all of this is really critical for them to be able to build their small farm businesses. In addition, we're really working hard today on the market development and Feeding America. Thank you very much. Your grant to In Harmony Farm through our partnership with the Food Bank of Iowa and Urban Dreams is again catalytic for the work that we're doing at In Harmony Farm. We are working hard with the Food Bank of Iowa and DMARC to be able to establish a list of vegetables that could be sold to the Food Bank and DMARC. One of the biggest barriers today is the competition of the pricing, because what our producers can produce the produce for is a little different than what the larger industrial scale farmers can produce it for. So somehow we have to be able to narrow that gap. Fortunately, that is a priority of the USDA in order to be able to provide more culturally diverse food, fresh and healthy, locally grown in the food insecure networks. Our farmers are selling at markets like Global Greens, where the Double Up Food Bucks program provides a tremendous increase in ability to buy fresh local foods for these food insecure networks. And quite a few of the families that we're serving at In Harmony came out of that network. So we're really excited to kind of be able to close the loop here, give them a chance to get out of that food insecure network, help their families, their future generations to be able to take over their farms and again, be able to remain out of that food insecure network. In addition, we're working with a large grocer in the area that is interested in featuring the produce of our farmers, again, to create that long-term market for the produce that they are providing. And then what's really important to us is that we find a long-term landing space for our farmers, because the intention is for them to be with us for 3 to 5 years. We help them create all of those foundational elements that make their businesses successful, their insurance, again, their taxes, how their corporations are formed, et cetera, and then to be able to move them on to a more permanent piece of land. So we're working with the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation to really find land where these farmers can go and have access for 20 or more years. So as you talk to developers, land developers, large farmers, anyone that might have an outlier 5-acre parcel of ground, we're working to really try and identify those within the 30-minute halo of Des Moines so that we can continue to create more and more of these small farm businesses for underserved farmers. And with that, I will turn it back to Michael. That's our work.
All right, Sharon, thank you so much. What great work you and your organization are doing. We appreciate you being here today. Leah, let's go on to you and hear some of your thoughts.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity to participate in today's event. Fighting hunger is one of Alliant Energy's core giving pillars, and each year our company supports numerous nonprofits focused on combating food insecurity among children, families, and seniors in Iowa through our giving programs and employee engagement. Alliant Energy serves 83 counties in Iowa, with many of our communities being rural. Many communities do not have local nonprofits and rely on services being provided in surrounding areas. For this reason, we have made it a priority to support the food banks and food pantries throughout the year in various ways through grants, sponsorships, and volunteer engagement. We live our value of caring for others by being an active participant throughout the state with initiatives such as Iowa Stops Hunger and doing our part to help Iowans in need. Currently, we are gearing up for our Hunger Action Month activities in September throughout Iowa and Wisconsin, where we serve customers. We look to identify creative ways throughout the year to support food programs, but put a special emphasis in September to support the Feeding America Food Bank's efforts to raise awareness and take action. I just wanted to provide a few examples of how we are currently partnering with the food banks and nonprofits. On the second Thursday of each month, our employees in Centerville host a mobile food distribution at our operations center. We began this sponsorship last year when we saw that Appanoose County was not being served by a mobile. This event has now become Food Bank of Iowa's largest mobile, serving over 300 households per month, which we are very proud of. Our employees love the opportunity to serve their community in this way with a consistent and ongoing event each month. This summer, we held a campaign to engage our customers with our My Account program. For every customer that signed up for our free online platform, we provided 3 meals to a food bank. As a result, we had over 16,000 customers sign up during that campaign, resulting in a donation of over 50,000 meals. We also like to have some fun and raise awareness at various sporting events. We partner with the Cedar Rapids Colonels on a Strikeout Hunger promotion, where we provide funds for the Haycap Food Reservoirs Backpack Program. We also partner with the UNI Panther football team on a Sack Hunger promotion, with the funds benefiting the Northeast Iowa Food Bank. Both promotions help bring awareness to spectators throughout the season of the food bank's efforts. Next month, we're doing something different and engaging our employees in a Hustle for Hunger campaign, where our employees will sign up with one of the food bank teams. For every healthy action an employee takes, and the options are limitless, it will unlock donations going to the food bank team they signed up with. The campaign will run September 15th through the 30th and will be a great way to promote health, employee engagement, and community. And finally, our largest event that we host each year will take place on September 13th. Since 2007, Alliant Energy has worked to end hunger through a signature event called Drive Out Hunger. Each fall, we invite our company's business partners from across the country to participate in a golf event, with all proceeds directed to 7 Feeding America food banks that serve our customers and communities in Iowa and Wisconsin. In the past 15 years, the Alliant Energy Foundation has raised over $5 million and provided over 17 million meals to those in need through this event. The funds are utilized by the food banks to support mobile food distributions, school backpacks, and pantry programs. This year's event is sold out, and we have raised nearly $470,000 to date in sponsorships, which will result in 1.4 million meals. These dollars each year allow the food banks the opportunity to fund their rural mobile distributions, but also help with needs they have, such as a new mobile truck or freezer. We are very proud of the partnerships we have built over the years with the food bank partners, as well as many nonprofits across Iowa. It takes everyone working together to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah, for being with us today and for all the work that you and Alliant Energy are doing to help fight food insecurity. And let's wrap up our panel discussion today with Emily Schmitt. Emily, take it away.
Thank you, Michael. Giving back is really ingrained here at Sukup Manufacturing, and we've been blessed and feel it's important to bless those who work and live in the community around us. So ours is a much more grassroots effort. And my perspective highlights many historical efforts that converge on this topic, especially bringing that rural perspective to any urban attendees to be proud of which I have to start at the beginning of our company. So Sukup has the privilege to be both located in the heartland of agriculture, like most on this Zoom, but also embedded in the food supply chain as our business. Being part of that is not something we take lightly. And in fact, Sukup got its start because my grandfather was a farmer that produced more grain than he needed for his livestock. And upon buying his first grain bin, his crop experienced spoilage. And he invented a stirring machine. This significantly reduced spoilage, which affects the world's food supply. And Fast forward 60 years, we see the world's largest grain bin holding 2.2 million bushels and have learned many ways to prevent grain spoilage. While many of the grain conditioning needed for prevention is common practice here in the heartland, many places across the world are still really experiencing that loss to spoilage, which affects the world's food supply. So in the spirit of our founders, some of the ways that we are contributing to that is Sukup Manufacturing sponsors a Global Food Security Award with the American Society for Ag and Bioscience Engineers. This is a way to recognize and encourage an enhancement of food security by innovating and engineering or the application of engineering in production or distribution of food. The latest recipient has worked in West Africa in soil health, using cover crops, and even training on maintenance of farm equipment, because that does increase productivity and increases the food supply from the land. Even up until my grandfather's last years, he was still tinkering around and involving himself in research projects with Iowa State, revolving around grain weevils attacking food supplies and in many other countries. And this potential of the application of agitation by rotation, or even his original stirring machine, was being researched to decrease the damage. So 60 years, and he was still inventing and still applying it all across the world to help. And I believe that involving ourselves in raising the awareness of food supply is really embedded in our DNA. And from George Washington Carver or Norman Borlaug and the World Food Prize, being in Iowa, which I saw Barbara, you're on here today. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention Iowa's only president, Herbert Hoover's mission. He was a mining engineer living in London with when the First World War broke out, and he became a key figure in logistics, planning to send Americans home, and he was tapped by an ambassador to help get food into a blockaded Belgium. This effort produced 5.7 million tons of food, serving 9.5 million people. So I've wanted to bring that up since Margaret, as you mentioned, was not able to attend here, because I think it's such part of our Iowa history that we should celebrate. And Iowans have always been up for the task of tackling this topic. So here in Iowa, we are surrounded by such rich history, rooting to food insecurity. And growing up, we all were witness to how my grandfather and family lived and worked, and living by faith and family was incredibly important. But bringing that large mission, whether we're helping research in Africa, we also drill it down and want to take it to our employees and our local community. And it really began as simple gestures that turned into traditions. So when thinking about ways we approach it, it's very grassroots and informal. We bring together our employees like you would family. We provide steak sandwiches for all employees and safety dinners, but then we don't just do that. We afterwards make sure that all the food is taken care of and distributed to any family members that are going through a season of hardship, so that we're not just wasting anything, just even in our events. And you can't have family discussions without leaving out the holidays. So the holidays cannot only be hectic, but also expensive. So we want to support our team and their families. So a tradition started way back when, and I'm pretty sure we have given out thousands upon thousands of turkeys, as each year, our entire Sukup family, we hand out a turkey for each employee. Even during the pandemic, when we couldn't gather, we combined care packages for employees to have picnics at home, or Christmas. We provided hams, beans, potatoes, because we know the richness of what family around a dinner table means. And we wanted to provide that for our employees throughout the pandemic, but it's also been embedded in our traditions. We also have a giving program at Christmas time that employees can apply, but also nominate other coworkers that, again, there's seasons of hardship that bring up. So we go to the grassroots and our employees and communities, and we support all of those, but coworkers are also welcome to contribute to those. And this spurred into a bigger concerted effort in our town, because we lost our grocery store in Sheffield, Iowa. We employ over 550 in a town of 1,200, and there's no grocery store. So we were a lead gift and really got the organizations and different businesses in town, and we were able to prop up our own West Fork food pantry. It was something that it was traveling in between different churches and things like that, but just those little developments really help sustain the community around us. And we've heard great, as you know, Nate said earlier, the food bankers, it does provide so much hope. And we've seen wonderful effects from that. So we also have efforts that we work on globally, but there are moments and opportunities where you look to support food insecurity, and don't overlook just the people around you at coworkers, because so many people and children are experiencing this. And so we just take an approach of we get to know our employees, we know anybody going through things, and we try to reach out when we can. And we are proud to reflect the efforts that truly started the company 60 years ago were really about preventing spoilage and watching the food supply chain and applying it in our daily lives with our employees, and having it be not just something that is done, but it's habit, and it's just natural for us to be there and support. So it's important to tell the stories of those before us, we think, but how to make your efforts impactful are making it tailored to what makes your business your business. What are the strengths that you have? What are the people and communities around us? We didn't have a grocery store in our town, so that is something that affected our community a lot. So really take an effort of looking at who is around you, because oftentimes people are overlooked. So we just take a lot of perspective in the small things. So that is our perspective, Michael. Thank you for letting us share it.
And let me unmute myself. Thank you, Emily, and thank you to each of our panelists today for their inspiring words that we hope will encourage each of you to continue to take action to fight food insecurity in our communities. And now, before we take a look at our final nonprofit video, I just want to give each of the panelists a quick heads up. They'll have a little bit of time at the end of the program today for a quick takeaway or final comment if you wish to share one. But now let's take a look at our final nonprofit video.
Hi, I'm Barbara Stinson, President of the World Food Prize Foundation. We elevate innovations and inspire action to increase the quality, quantity, and availability of food for all. In our awards and global deliberations on solutions to food insecurity, private sector involvement is crucial to our success. Youth programs featuring students from around the world participating in these solutions is also critical. Please continue to join us. worldfoodprize.org.
I'm Jenny with Riverbend Food Bank. Through 400 hunger relief partners across eastern Iowa and western Illinois, we serve over 100,000 adults and children experiencing hunger. Increased demand coupled with supply issues and fewer food donations means that we need the community support now more than ever to help those in need.
Hi, I'm Barb Prather. I'm the director of the Northeast Iowa Food Bank. We provide food and grocery products to 16 counties in Northeast Iowa, but we can't do that without community support. We need the help of businesses to not only volunteer, but donate and advocate to help us in the fight against hunger.
Hi, my name is Erin McLaren. I'm the Director of Healthy Incentives at the Iowa Healthiest State Initiative. Our answer to food insecurity in Iowa, the Double Up Food Bucks program, launched in 2016. Since then, we have helped food insecure Iowans redeem millions of dollars in fresh fruits and vegetables from Iowa grocery stores and farmers markets. By increasing access to nutritious foods, keeping money in our local economy, and supporting Iowa farmers, we create a triple win for Iowans across the state. The Double Up Food Bucks program wouldn't have the success or reach it does today without our sponsors' investment to fight food insecurity in Iowa. Everyone deserves to have access to nutritious foods so they can live their healthiest lives.
Thank you to those nonprofits and the others that we featured throughout the program. So now, speakers, we want to ask you all to share a final thought, maybe something that you took away from what you heard from others, or something that you didn't get to mention yet that you think people should be thinking of as they walk away. So Rona, let's go to you first.
Thanks, Emily. I just have a couple of quick recap comments. I think for every one of us, at the intersection of who we are and what we need, the basic need is food. And every one of us have the opportunity to go home every night. We don't have to worry about it. It's something that we take for granted in some ways. We have the ability, we have access, we can we can live healthier lives because of it. That basic need is not met for everyone, and each and every one of us in some way, whether it's through time, talent, or treasure, can make a difference. It impacts every single generation, from birth to senior years, and it could be our own neighbors. The important thing to keep in mind is there are opportunities. There are opportunities to do more. There's opportunities to do whatever you can. I would also encourage employers to consider including built-in time to in your workplace for employees to participate in a way and whatever makes sense for you and for them, so that it can be part of your culture and rooted in what matters in our own communities. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And Nate, what's your final thought?
Yeah, I have two. One, this opportunity makes me proud to be an Iowan, just to hear all of the inspiring speakers. The second thought is, and maybe this is a challenge for the talented folks at BPC and everyone on the phone or on the call, I think we need to do more to raise awareness of the importance of food and the power of food. I mean, we've heard about the economic opportunities that food creates, but sometimes we diminish what hunger actually is and what food actually provides those who don't have access to food. It's not just immediate sating of hunger, it's nutrition and medicine and culture and all of the things that were beautifully captured by those on this call. I think if we reveal what truly food means and what access to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food is, as a community and as a state, we will all align around the same value that no one should ever go hungry, ever, period. So thank you.
Thank you. Sharon?
I think those are all fantastic comments, and Matt Unger had a great comment in the chat as well regarding getting to the systemic issues of hunger. And we're hoping to do that at In Harmony Farm. Some of the additional work we're going to be doing is research with different organizations, including climate smart commodities and drone supported crop management, teaching our farmers more about agronomy so that they can produce more with the same amount of land. So getting more farmers into our program and getting more land in our program is a way that we can help lift these farming families out of the food insecure network, and again, provide more food to those communities, fresh local consumption. And I think all of us as consumers to understand the pricing difference between fresh, local, healthy grown food is important. And we sometimes have to pay a premium for that, but it supports our local economy and also contributes to the health and welfare of a lot of us. So thank you for the additional time.
Awesome. And Leah, what are you taking away?
Well, I was going to talk about partnerships, and in the comments, Barb Prather said it best. She said, thank you everyone for your partnership. What we do is about partnership and collaboration. None of us can do it alone. And that's what I was going to say, is that, you know, I just encourage everyone to look in your communities and look, you know, who you can partner with, if it's other businesses, other nonprofits. You know, the more we can work together and, you know, try to solve issues in our communities, the better that we can do it. So thank you.
Thank you. And Emily, round us out.
Yeah, bedding cleanup. First of all, I have a couple thoughts. Nate, you need to do an editorial. I would love to read just about more of your thoughts on food. And I think awareness goes to Matt's comments about root cause. As a manufacturer, we always love to drill into the root causes of things. And I think, you know, Nate, your thoughts, I would love to read a whole editorial on that. As my other point, I want to bring up something that is tangential to all this, but is very related. And it's another statewide initiative that needs some improvement on that I became aware last year. And it's a USDA food program. I had the honor to be chair of the governor's child care task force and heard from many child care providers across the state that the child and adult care food program is a burdensome process for many child care centers. It is so burdensome that some don't take the time to pursue it for funds that could even help their bottom lines. But the ones who do were holding up stacks of paper lining their hallways to show how much it took in order to receive the funds. So just an improvement of that process would affect children and adults that need it across the nation. So if anybody is interested in reaching out on that topic with the USDA, I know we have Secretary Vilsack there. I think it'd be great to really look at that to help eligible children and adults across the nation. I'll put that in a link to that in the chat as well.
Great. And thank you to all our speakers. You had great insights that you shared with us today. Very inspiring. And I'll turn it back over to Susanna now.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I have a couple of closing thoughts before we go. First, thank you to, of course, all of our speakers. I loved Nate's takeaway about food and the role of food. No one should go hungry, certainly not in Iowa. But as he pointed out, not all food is created equal. Everyone has the right to healthy food, fresh food, nutritious food, and everyone has the right to education about nutrition. A lot of us got that when we were in 7th grade or in school, and I would love to see more of that available today. We not only have an epidemic of hunger in Iowa, we also have an epidemic of chronic health issues in our state, many of which have emerged or increased over the last couple of decades. This requires that we not just fight hunger, but that we also provide a healthy and meaningful diet and the ability for everyone to live healthy lives. Food, culture, inclusion, access to healthcare, childcare, education, as you heard today, it's all interrelated. I want to make sure that all of you who are at companies have the opportunity to stop or to join the corporate challenge. The link is here. So I want to make sure that we leave you with that. Of course, I always want to tell you about some of the upcoming events that we have at BPC, both business record and DSM events. We have an unveiling coming up on September 8th. And Envision Iowa, which is all about our economy and helping our economy flourish, on September 14th. We have a power breakfast coming up on the 15th, so make sure you sign up for those. So thank you to all of our speakers, not just for participating today, but for the important work that you are doing as business leaders to fight food insecurity here in our state. Your work is so appreciated. And the same goes to all of the nonprofits who were featured in our videos today and those who were not, all of you as well. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all the work that you do to fight hunger. Food banks, food pantries, faith-based organizations, those who manage mental health, agency workers, your work makes a difference. So thank you for being here with us and thank you for everything that you do. Of course, this work would not be possible without our sponsors. So thank you again so much to presenting sponsor Hy-Vee and supporting sponsor Mom Meals. You've been with this initiative from the very beginning. You are truly amazing partners in this work. And then last but not least, thank you to each one of you who joined today. I hope you came away with information and ideas about how you or your company can fight hunger. We hope that you'll tune into the Iowa Hunger Summit, which starts on Thursday, and to take action during Hunger Action Month in September, because no Iowan should go hungry. Thanks for being here, and that concludes our program.